So you want to get into motorsports. Well, that's awesome because I think it's like the best thing ever. Clearly, whether it's drifting or normal road racing, go-karting, whatever it is, it's all the same. How do you even freaking do that? It's pretty simple. You just have to go out to an event. Like, I know it can be daunting and intimidating, but like literally go out to an event. So in this modern age, we're in a weird spot where I think people in the pandemic are kind of spending too much time on social media. I mean, like, look at this guy right over here. Anyway, point being, people are spending too much time on social media, not going out enough. At the same time, we're in a weird spot where you probably shouldn't be going out, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God. My point is, go out to an event and start talking to people. That's how you get into motorsports. But wait, what if I'm not old enough to go? Well, guess what? You're always old enough to participate in the community in some way or shape or form. I have two great examples. The first is myself. I started out as a videographer when I was 14. I was too young to drift. My parents weren't going to buy me a car. I didn't come from a racing family, blah, 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 blah. But what I ended up doing was I picked up a video camera, started shooting drivers at grassroots events because no one else was really doing it. And I befriended a lot of them, and they were willing to give me ride-alongs because I was giving them video content, essentially. And that actually turned into me getting a media pass to D1 Grand Prix, to Hyperfest in 2010, and Formula Drift in 2010 to 2012. I had a learner's permit when I was in Formula Drift, and when I was in D1, I was 15. I was a freshman in high school, which is insane to think about. I think a freshman, sophomore, something like that. I don't know. I was super young. Oh, but you know what it did? I actually won this fancy pants award when I was a junior in high school. And for those of you who need to convince your parents to let you do something, you know what? Drifting got me into college. I made that video, I got this cool award, and then I wrote about my drifting experience on my college essay because it stood out, no one else could match it, and guess what? I got into one of the best schools in the country. I got into William & Mary, I graduated with a finance degree, and entered Wall Street, which is what's allowed me to do drifting to the level that I've done it to so far. Story number 2, Owen Gray. So in 2018, Owen comes up to me, and before he asks for a ride-along, he actually asked me, what can I do to help you out? Because I see you're here by yourself, you know, you're just kind of changing your tires by yourself and whatever. And I was like, oh, interesting. No one usually asks what can they do to help. They just ask me for something, right? And so he kind of told me his story, which was he was working at a tire shop. He was still in high school. And, you know, he didn't have the money to drive, but he really wanted to get some like hands-on experience to work on race cars because it was his dream to work at RTR one day. So he spent the whole year with me, actually. So the rest of that year, that was in October of 2018. And 2019, until he graduated and moved away for technical school down in North Carolina, he was a part of my team. And he was pretty much my only crew member back then. And he would help me out at events in Club Loose, in Richmond, in US Drift, at VMP, at Drift Nirvana, all over the place. He would go with me, and he learned a lot. I mean, we, you know, did a bunch of work on my S14 and had a great time. So the thing is, he actually now works at RTR, which is insane. He gets to drive Von Gitten's Mustangs, you know, to and from grid, but then also gets to drive the Fox Body at fun events like Holly's Ford Fest. And I've seen him rip around his own E36 at, you know, Drift Nirvana now, and he's really come a long way. So I'm really proud of him. And he started out in the community by helping others before, you know, people would help him. And like, that's a great way to get your foot in the door in motorsports, especially if you don't come from a background of money, don't come from a background where, you know, people are handing you cars to go drive. It's literally, hey, what can you do to help somebody else so that they'll help you, right? And I actually helped him, you know, approach RTR. I told him, hey, this is exactly how I would do it. I had to network my way into Wall Street, and I knew by talking to these types of business people, I knew exactly how to do the approach, and I showed him the door. It was entirely Owen that went up to Vaughn at a demo event and asked, hey, I'll do anything. I'll sweep the floors if you need me to for free. I just want to be a part of the team. And they gave him a shot, and he's done super well there ever since. He went from unpaid intern to full-time, and I love it. I love seeing him progress, and he's just a great story of somebody that broke into the sport when, you know, they had no connections to it. And I get, you know, I get the whole, I don't know anybody, I don't know any friends that are at these drift events, whatever. The point is, all of your friends are already at that drift event. You just have to go and meet them. So, anyway, hopefully, to someone who's never been to a drift event before, or maybe you've been to Formula Drift and want to get into the sport, please just go to an event, talk to people, meet people. Everyone's generally super friendly. And added bonus, if you try to help people, they'll like you even more than if you just try to ask things of them, right? So anyway, next time we'll talk about what car you should be getting, at least in my opinion, right? And how to approach your first event. So until then, thanks for tuning in. I'm Nate Chen.